Hello and welcome to another edition of Artifact Highlight. Now, since recently I've been posting videos of trains, I've decided I'm going to keep with transportation for this episode, but I want to talk more about turnpikes. In particular, we're going to be talking about the Pennsylvania Turnpike. I have 3 different items here I'll be going over. They all have some connection to the Pennsylvania Turnpike, whether directly or indirectly, like the bag up there. But we're going to begin here with the brochure. Now, just for some background information, the Pennsylvania Turnpike is deemed the first American superhighway. Was opened October 1st, 1940. Stretches clear across from both western and eastern borders and mainly cuts across the southern part of Pennsylvania. In the 90s, they finished their extension north that went from around the Philadelphia area up towards Scranton. Now we're going to begin here with our Pennsylvania Turnpike brochure. If you look on the back, they give a list of different names, including David L. Lawrence. He was the governor at the time. You also have the commissioners, Joseph L. Lawler, he was the chairman, and the other commissioners. I really can't find an exact date on when this was published, so I'm going by when Lawrence was governor. So this is probably from 1959 till 1963. I'm leaning more toward the 60s. And you can see the front here. You can see a photo at the bottom of the toll booth. Up here you can see, oh look, hardly nobody on the road. We wish that today, don't we, on the turnpike. We open up here. I've actually found this really cool. They actually add a little insight about the origins of the route. If you don't know, you can read here. The turnpike actually follows the original route of the proposed the Southern Pennsylvania Railroad. South Penn Railroad right there. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if I was getting that right. It was you might hear people dub it as Vanderbilt's folly because they tried to build this and it just never came to fruition. They kind of abandoned it. Some of the tunnels that were constructed, they later on became used as part of the turnpike and much of the route as well. You see down here the times it would take if you take the Pennsylvania Turnpike, how fast. There must have been like nobody on the road at that time. Again, you can see another photo up here of the toll plazas. Here's another cool thing. Back then, in the early 60s, they would have actually had a lot of payphones. They were located near service buildings or plazas. See the image here. We move on down here. Talk some more about the turnpike. Turnpike driving. Oh, okay. Let's tell people how to drive normally. You really think people are going to drive normally? Must have been a simpler time back then in the 1960s. Open it up farther, gives some safety guidelines, talks about different people using the turnpike for transportation, stuff here about the ambulances. Looks like they had an equipment for like ambulances and radios at about 19 maintenance buildings. It talks about here too about the radio equipment. To provide you with adequate service and to provide state police and turnpike patrols with the best possible communication across the 470 miles of the turnpike, modern two-way radios are connected with state police barracks, interchanges, maintenance buildings, state police patrol cars, emergency road service vehicles, and turnpike units. When I think of two-way, any type of radios, I always think of that movie Frequency. This here talks about the emergency road service. I was just reading through this again before I started making this video. I found this pretty cool how the idea was you just remain in your car like today they want you to, but they would actually hang out a white handkerchief or something and also raise your hood to mark that your car is in distress. Down here about the turnpike exits and how to obey the exits. It says here at the time there are 3 exit signs, approach and exit. And if you miss the exits, do not back up. Go to the next interchange for your own safety. You know, I really wonder how many people did not follow that simple guideline. This video's going to turn to me just insulting the crazy drivers of the world, ain't it? Also here, talks about the service stations, located at 26 areas on the turnpike. We're going to talk more about the service stations when I get to that bag later on. So it's a very cool story. I don't think we have 26 though today. I'm not sure. I forget what the actual count is today. Oh, here we go. DXP versus opening brochure. Yes. When you open the brochure up, you're given this incomplete map of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Another reason I believe this was from the early 60s, because if you look closely down here, you'll see that the Laurel Hill Tunnel is still on this map. The Laurel Hill Tunnel was out of service by 1963. And this shows you the whole way. Starts here at the Ohio border, coming through Pittsburgh, going past through here. Roughly around here is where Breezewood would be. This here is that, you might have heard of the abandoned Pennsylvania Turnpike, this 10-mile section, which is now used a lot for biking. Right here is Rays Hill and Silent Hill Tunnel. You also got over here, Carlisle, going across at Harrisburg, past Lancaster, all the way down here at Philadelphia, and here's the extension, the extension that goes up. And you can see different areas talking about the air turnpikes, because it does lead on eastern side does lead directly into the New Jersey Turnpike, and on the western side leads directly into the Ohio Turnpike. I find that weird how it's marked. I know they commissioned the extension, but I don't think it was ever completed until the 1991. I think 1990-91. The Yavli Valley Tunnel. So that's a little weird. I'm a little confused in that. And down here shows you the different exits and mileposts. And here the key for the service stations, mains buildings, state, and U.S. highways. At the time, originally there was actually 7 tunnels on the main route. Today, 7. I think there's only about 4 or 5 today left. Yeah, 4. DXP attempts math. Not a good idea. We're now going to move on to this pennant I have of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. This too, I believe, is from before 1963, because you'll see here they have all the tunnels numbered. And number 1, if we can read here, right there it is. There is the Laurel Hill Tunnel. You got the Allegheny Tunnel. I've actually heard about the Allegheny Mountain Tunnel. I think they might be trying to replace it. I've read some news. They've been for a long time now looking a way to bypass, because the tunnel's over 70 years old and starting to fall apart. See the other tunnels. And it goes to Harrisburg. It doesn't show the rest of the way to Philadelphia or the northern extension. You see the Pennsylvania Turnpike. I got this actually. I forget what flea market it was at. It was about 5 years ago. And then that brings us to my Howard Johnson bag. Now this isn't, I don't believe, from the 60s. This is probably much later. It's actually from the one of the Howard Johnson hotel motels, not the actual restaurant. But while we do have a Howard Johnson bag here, I will talk about Howard Johnson's for a bit. Howard Johnson was a major chain restaurant along the Pennsylvania Turnpike. At one point, they had the exclusive rights for all the plazas on the Turnpike, and they were serving their food. A good example would be Midway Plaza, which is not far from Bedford and Breezewood. Those were Howard Johnson's at one point, and they're really the only ones that have the original structural design for the plazas. Ever since, and they pretty much torn down a lot of the original plazas and given them this new look. I don't know how you want to call it. If you've been on the Turnpike recently, you know what I'm talking about, but Midway's still the old stone structures. Howard Johnson restaurants could be easily identified by the orange roof, as that was part of their symbol. They also ran motor lodges, hotels. After a while, though, they start selling off their businesses. The hotel rights, I believe, they're owned by Wyndham today. I probably botched that name, but that's who currently runs it. I forget who ended up buying the restaurant rights. So that sums up my showcase of some Turnpike memorabilia I have. Once again, the next artifact highlight will be coming out sometime, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. That's my goal right now, to have artifact highlights out by every other Sunday. I'm also working on a small video. I took a trip to the Everett Railroad the other week, and I'm going to be making a video showing the steam engine in action. So keep your eyes out for that video coming on my site here soon. But that wraps up this video, so until next time.